Coming up, we went to Universal Mardi Gras specifically to see Gavin Rossdale, and we want to let you know what we thought. From the Bob Varley studio in Orlando, Florida, this is the Universal edition of The Diz Unplugged. This is episode 206 of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. The Diz Unplugged Universal Edition is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect universal vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. I am your host, Craig Williams, and today I am joined alongside by my co-host, Mr. Ryno Clavin.
Hello.
Welcome, Ryno Clavin.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, so as I said previously, this week we are talking about Gavin Rossdale specifically. It's a new Bush-related podcast.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about where is that Constantine sequel we've been waiting for all these years.
Well, also that. I mean, let's be real. Keanu Reeves is like an A-lister again with the John Wick movies and other stuff. I mean, people have forgotten about, what was the one? Glass House? Is that the...
No. Are you thinking about the cabin? Glass House.
Yeah.
The one with Sandra Bullock where he puts the letters
in the yep, that's
I think it's called
the
cat
something like that. Either way, I mean, that has nothing to do.
I own it and I can't remember.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Is it Shia LaBeouf also in Constantine, or am I not remembering?
No, he
that
is.
correctly?
You're remembering it very correctly. Yeah, and I think it's she was in the oh my gosh, her name is slipping me, but she's in all the Wes Anderson movies, and she was in Doctor Strange as the Eternal, not Cate Blanchett. Tilda Swinton.
Okay.
Yes.
So, no, we're not doing this one all about Gavin Rossdale.
Welcome to the Constantine podcast.
Yeah, but fortunately for us, Bush was playing at Universal Mardi Gras. We're just talking about Universal Mardi Gras as a whole on this episode. So it kicked off, I guess basically 6 days ago from right now.
The lake house.
Yes. Okay, there we go. So I had the house portion. You had the style of house in there, and we just couldn't come together. There is a glass house one. Too,
yeah, that's Lidley Sobieski, and it is about something completely different.
Gotcha. I'm sure that's going down a dark road with that, but
sure is.
But yeah, back to the show. Universal Mardi Gras. It kicked off this past weekend, and so yeah, we're days and days and days into it, and it is back and better than ever. There's not really, I mean, in terms of like talking about differences between this year and past years, there's not a whole heck of a lot. I mean, the concept is still the same. It's pretty much one of the best times of year to come to Universal, and I'm not saying like, oh, don't come to Halloween Horror Nights over coming during Mardi Gras. It's just the fact that everything with Universal Mardi Gras is included directly into your ticket. So it's an extra benefit, especially if you're on one of the nights where there's a concert, and if it's a concert you want to see. I mean, we've talked about Mardi Gras enough leading up to this show, as well as in the years past when we've talked about Mardi Gras. So we don't need to go crazy on all of the details with it. I think everyone has a firm grasp on it. It's a combination of three things: the French Quarter Courtyard, which provides different food and beverage options. It has the parade, and then potential for we'll call it the live performers with the regular New Orleans bands that come and play in the French Quarter Courtyard, and then also on the big Universal Studios Music Plaza stage, the big I was about to say A-listers, and then that would be way too nice to some of the people that they do get in, but they do have some A-listers for sure.
Once upon a time, A-listers?
Pitbull.
Oh, who's that?
Oh, sorry.
We got a ghost in the house.
We do. I lost my fingering on that one. I apologize.
I'd say that Macklemore's an A-lister.
Yep.
Still,
I'd say that Pitbull's an A-lister.
No, he
Not
is.
In our hearts,
it wasn't. That wasn't a question. Yeah.
So, anyways, we're going to start off by talking about the parade, because this is basically this and the food are the two staples that run every single night, because Mardi Gras does happen now every single night. It started, like I said, this past Saturday and runs through the end of March. I don't have the exact date in front of me. And
I thought it was into April.
and maybe it's the start of April.
I think April 4th or something like that.
Yeah, it definitely, it's something like that. You might even be right on the money with it. While you're pulling that up,
April 4th, I am correct.
there
Thank
you go. Thank you.
Sometimes
Thank you.
I know
Yes.
things.
Yes. So April 4th is when it runs through, and so every single night you will be able to see the Universal Mardi Gras parade, as well as eating the food at the French Quarter courtyard. Those are the guarantees. And so we're going to start off with the parade, like I just said. It's got the 6 main floats that stay with the parade the entire time: the King and Queen float, the Gator float, the Crew of Dionysus float, the Jesters float, the Steamboat, and oh man, what's the one other one? I thought I got all of them, but it'll come to me. It'll come to me. If not, it doesn't. It doesn't really matter that much. I don't think anyone cares that much about it. But then, of course, the theme for the parade this year is party animals. So we have the 6 different floats that we talked about on the last show, including you have the ocean float, you have the swamp frog float, the bumblebee float, and
Polar bear?
The Arctic float, and then also, well, that's with the ocean one. Sorry, on that one, the tiger and the jungle float, and that's there's one more there, and I'm just one short of everything today. I mean, obviously we have if you're watching this, you're seeing more to it, and if you're listening, you're missing out quite a bit on that. But I'll have Ryno share your thoughts on the floats.
Oh, I always like this parade. I feel like it's a high energy parade. It's a lot of fun. I mean, who doesn't like a parade where they're throwing beads at you too? And you don't even have to take your top off for these ones. You just have to be enthusiastic and hope somebody in the parade likes you enough to throw you a bead. Or you just have a video camera or a camera of any sort, and they love to throw beads to try and get it around them. So that's always fun.
They go out of their way to attempt to hit you if you are recording anything at any point in time. But you know what? It's fun. I just look like an insane person covering up my camera the entire time. But yeah, the 6 new floats, like I said before, you start off with the frog float, which we knew this one was going to be fun and heavily themed. It's got the big king frog on the front, the little shack on the bayou, and then a fun little crawfish hanging off the back holding onto Mardi Gras beads. Really well done. And then the bird float, that's the one I forgot about. Just birds all over.
Bird
and
is the word.
This one was probably my least favorite. I didn't care much for the bird float. Not that it was bad. It is still heavily detailed. It just wasn't that
The bird is the
much
boat?
fun.
It's like a boat. This like swan bird.
No. The once you get it, I'm talking specifically about the party animal floats. So
I
it
thought
starts
that was.
off starts off with the frog. That's the kickoff one, the
Yeah.
swamp frog float, and then it goes into the birds next. And yeah, the birds are, there's bird people, and then there's also a bird float with it too.
Okay. This is when the guy kicked your camera.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm scrolling through the video on YouTube, and there was a flash all of a sudden, and I'm like, oh, that must have been when the gentleman sitting in front of the camera kicked it.
Yeah, it happened a couple times. Had to do some flashes because of it. So then the bee float comes next, and before the bee float, they've got a whole bunch of people dressed up in with flowers on, and they're the pollen, and then it gets to the bees with the buzzing and
Beads?
bees. It'll
always happen.
It will always happen, but it's I call it the honey of all the floats.
You did it. I think next one is my favorite one was the next float after that one. Though.
The next float after that is the jungle float with the Tiger King on the front part of the float, and that had fire effects coming from the top of it, and so that's That was anytime it's fire floats. I mean, I know this is at the same base for whatever floats in the past had fire with it, but it just adds that extra excitement. Yeah, some of the floats shoot off confetti and stuff, but when the fire comes off, oh man, it's pretty awesome. And then the ocean float that had the this was Arctic / ocean with it, because there was a big whale up at the front. On the back there was the polar bear hanging off of it. I really like the polar bear. It's cute. It had like on the kind of the mask on top of it, and just nice because it's like it is themed with the animal and the nature, but at the same time too it does have that Mardi Gras feel because of that simple little detail. And then the actual ocean float that has the big sea turtle on the front wearing beads, being a crazy guy like you would expect any sea turtle to be, and seahorse on there, and just like we described it when we said. And I would say, based on the concept art, the translation to what they looked like, actually at Mardi Gras, they're beautiful floats. Once again, I forgot about the French
Was
Quarter.
the Bourbon Street float new, or is they
Nope,
done that before?
That's one of the others.
Okay.
So I mentioned all 6 of the staple floats, and that's the one I forgot about, where they always have the performers on the second-story balcony just... Hey now. Yeah. So that's the Universal Mardi Gras parade. I think we say it every year. It's a highlight for me this year. I thought it was a lot of fun. I don't catch beads because I don't need a whole bunch of beads at home.
Like to catch them, give them to a kid on the way out.
You mean Eli?
Yeah, that's actually what it was.
So.
No, I'm loving that they are keeping the parade all 7 days, because it didn't used to be all the time, and I feel like it's they spend so much on these floats, or I don't even care how much money they spend because it's a theme park, I pay to be there, but I like that they are always changing, and the parade is just a fun, of all the parades they do, it's one of the more, like I said, high energy, and like everyone can have a good time, and I like seeing all the people.
Yeah, and
all with the glitter paint all over them.
And let's be real, there are some days where you'll go on weekdays and it's not that busy, and you almost look at it like, do they need to be doing this? But for the majority of it, at least the dates even I attended on weekdays, it felt like, people were still coming out specifically to see it. Yeah. So as long as that keeps happening, I am so happy that it is now an event that happens every day of the week versus only on weekends like it used to be back in the day. With the concert, if you're going on one of the nights where there's a concert offered, of course, we always recommend trying to get a spot very, very early for the parade around that area, because there will be people who are staked out specifically only for the concert, and they're going to have all the prime seating. So if you want even decent, and by seating I mean standing, so they'll probably be sitting waiting for it, but then once it starts, everyone stands up, and if you want a good spot, you are going to have to make that a priority. It's not usually a thing where you can get a good spot and you can also have a great spot for the parade. You really have to choose one or the other. So that's, of course, why we do recommend, if you can try to hit a day where it's just the parade happening versus the concert and the parade, then you can really get the full experience. Mm-hmm. So, but if you want a good spot, you are going to be waiting. Like, I think I waited when John Stamos was here last year with the Beach Boys. I want to say I waited like 2 hours for the concert. But then again, I was also like 20 feet away from the stage. So, yeah.
From the Stamos.
He was Stavros. John Stamos' his alter ego was a little bit further away from me than that. But
microphone.
I felt the energy pulsating off. But Bush happened.
Yeah, sure did.
Yeah. And I don't know what they closed with. I'm assuming they closed with glycerine, but they definitely opened with Machine Head, just like I said they were going to. And in between was a whole bunch of crap I didn't know.
Yeah, but I mean, they still sound like what they sound like. So if you were a fan, I'm sure it was great for you.
Or as Ryno described, like some acts from that time period, if you thought you knew one song, chances are you really didn't, but they all sound the same. Yeah. So you're going to tell yourself you did anyways.
I know that song. And then I was like, maybe I don't. Maybe I do. It's fine.
But you don't. So that's that's that on that. But the last thing we have to talk about is the food. And there's a lot to go over with the food, just because they've kind of changed that up this year. Yes, it's still the same tents and that whole style, but they've also made food a little bit more accessible because they've dropped the portions into smaller snack-sized portions, and then offered special lanyards where you can kind of take advantage of buying one of them and being able to sample a lot more. Like if you're an annual pass holder, you can get 15 dishes for $60. So you're talking $4. And a lot of the dishes are right at like the $4.99 mark. Some of them were a little bit higher. I saw one or two that were like $5.99, $6.49. So it varies on that, but you can, if you make the right choices on it, you can get a deal. And like even sample size, I believe it was 9-ounce samples of beer are included on this. And if you're not an annual pass holder, you can still get one that has 10 items for $50. And then I think the other one was it was a $30 one, and I can't do the math really quick in my head to figure it out. It might have been 6 items or something like that for $5. It doesn't matter regardless on that. We're going to go over that all in a second because we're actually taking you there to talk about the food items. So here we go. We have made it to Universal just like we said we were going to do for the food portion of talking about Universal Mardi Gras. It's right behind us. So that's all I have to say about that. I also see somewhere between one of us or right there somewhere is the table where you can get the tasting lanyard. So we're going to go pick up one of those, and then we're going to start sampling a couple things. We're not going to go full blown. We'll probably talk a little bit more about more of the food next week too, and go more in depth.
There's 2 lanyards though, right? Are you going to talk about that?
3 total.
3 lanyards.
There's 3 total.
Pass holder.
Well, yeah.
Talked about it on the show?
We talked about it on the show.
Okay, come
So it's all good. So we're just going to take you through now what we get and get the general idea. So let's go. Ultimately, we decided to go with the annual pass lanyard, the tasting lanyard that is, because we get 15 food items now for $60. So it was like $63 after tax and all of the details on that. So we went up to the first booth, the Gumbo and Jambalaya booth, and obviously they offer Gumbo and Jambalaya, and the pricing on the Jambalaya here with the cute little crawfish there, that was $5.99, and the red beans and rice here with the shrimp and all that goodness, that was $4.99. So 15 items. You get every item for essentially $4 since you paid $60. Sorry about the sound. Everyone likes to just drag chairs around instead of picking them up. So we're already off to saving money on the tasting lanyard because obviously 6 is more than 4 and 5 is more than 4.
We're gonna rock this.
But let's see how it tastes though.
You can eat that whole crawfish. I don't eat animals with a face.
Now then, why have I seen you go to town on chicken?
Can I see the chicken's face?
Maybe. I've actually never eaten one of these before.
Oh.
So I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. Where's Corey at when you need him here? I'm not,
I don't even know.
I don't.
Have you had
How
lobster?
do you eat
Do you
them?
eat lobster?
Do you eat it? Do we?
No, you eat it because Eli eats them all the time. He gets excited when there's an all-you-can-eat crawfish bar. I think there's flesh in that tail still.
Maybe. I just worry that someone's going to judge me for eating this because it doesn't look great.
Consider yourself like one of the first ever like a caveman had to smash a living thing and go, can I eat this? Smashy, smashy.
So while I figure out how to eat this later, not on camera, this is making gripping content. I'll Google it. Maybe we'll come back to it. I'll take one more bite of jambalaya. It's not bad. Both Ryno and I enjoy some spice though, so hot sauce will be needed for sure. Over here with the red beans.
That's piping hot. Sweet Jesus.
Again, with the gumbo, not spicy. enough for me. Probably like a lot of average people would consider that spicy with some hot sauce. That's going to be a nice little dish. I'll let you try, Ryno.
Okay, I'm gonna start with this is the jambalaya, right? Mm-hmm. Got some chicken and what is that, sausage, did you say?
Mm-hmm. Andouille.
Andouille. It's not bad. It's not without flavor. It's good. For me, the rice is a little, maybe like overcooked, a little too squishy.
Yeah, a little gummy.
Yeah, a little gummy is the perfect word to describe it, actually. But honestly, the tasting size of this is a pretty decent amount of the gumbo, and then you got your little crawfish that's been murdered over there. But
well, that's a jambalaya. The red beans and rice is kind of what they're going for with gumbo.
Oh, okay. And how many shrimps were in this? I think there were 4 maybe, right?
I ate 2 already.
Oh yeah, 4. So that's good. 4 shrimps, good healthy portion of rice and beans.
And it's available without shrimp for those people out there with shellfish allergies.
This is good. I am with you on the spice. Like, I do taste like the slightest hint of that like Creole seasoning kind of spice, but it's not spicy enough for me. I want to be like crying, sweating. But those are pretty good. I think I like this one a little bit better. Although I'm having the issue where I feel the opposite way about the rice in this. Like, it's a little undercooked. It feels very like maybe they just made it, which is fine. So probably throughout the night it'll get a little softer. But it's nice to get you a little bread to dip it and stuff. So I'm gonna dip some hot sauce on this stuff and maybe have a little more, and then we're gonna move on to the next food item. Okay, so the next booth we went to was the Gator and etouffee booth. The crab etouffee was $6.99, and the Gator bites were $4.99. So we're now up another dish, another price there. I have never had etouffee, so maybe I'm going to try that first. I am not a huge, I like crab with a K more than crab with a C, because, you know, classy. So I'm going to mix it in. It's got some rice, another big piece of the bread here. Let's see. I don't know. I think I was worried he was going to have really strong crab flavor, and I don't really taste that. It tastes like corn chowder, but without the corn, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, it's just kind of a creamy stew.
You know how the people from New Orleans love their stews and soups?
Yeah, it's not bad. And again, a big portion of it. On the other hand, the Gator bites have like 4 pieces of Gator, although they're counting, and I'll eat this one. This little guy is one of the bites here, but they drop these fresh for us. Gator can be a pretty chewy meat. I like to think it's the one animal that I don't mind eating because I'd rather kill them before they kill me. Alligators.
That's a good point.
Okay. This is actually pretty good. That little piece I wasn't in love with. The Gator meat's pretty good. It's pretty tender. It's not dried out like that first little teeny piece I had was. And then it's got like a mustard aioli that's really good with it. But yeah, I kind of almost wish they maybe did this as like a popcorn shrimp, like put it in a little box instead of just having the 4 bites, but it's probably not economically feasible. There is a little bit of a coleslaw sitting on top of here that I'm going to try that people are very excited about, if you can hear that. And the coleslaw is good, so for me, I think this was the winning decision at these two, but you try it and let me know what you think.
I never had Gator until I came to Florida, and even then, like the first time I had it, I was like, oh my gosh, they have Gator here, not knowing that like you go to a restaurant called Gator's Dockside, and you get Gator bites there, and there's Gator bites everywhere.
I didn't know that too.
So, yeah, they seem uncommon until you start looking for them, but I like Gator. Like you said, it can be potentially chewy, but most of the time it just ends up tasting like chicken. So pretty delicious, and I'm going all in on this one.
That was 2 pieces.
Excuse me while I talk with my mouth full. It was 2 pieces connected together. Gator's good, just like you said, not chewy at all. The mustard aioli is just the perfect balance, but at the same time, the breading on the Gator has a lot of nice, got that salty seasoning, a little Cajun seasoning to it too. That's really, really good. I'm right with you. I could just use an entire cup full and just walk around.
It's got a nice amount of spice, like the right amount of spice.
Yeah, now I'm gonna try the coleslaw off of a potato chip because that's me. You're right, the coleslaw's good. So I'm gonna repurpose the bread here and get in on the etouffee.
You know why I know this? Because of Aladdin. The genie goes, crab etouffee, and he pulls Sebastian out of the book.
I know it because what's the restaurant that Corey forces us to go to all the time in Disneyland?
Oh, Ralph Brennan's.
Ralph Brennan's, yeah. And I always get the soup trio that comes with etouffee, Gumbo and Jambalaya. Yeah, you're right. It's not really getting crab involved in this that much. It's definitely brothy. Has that chowder flavor. Very celery heavy.
Yeah.
For sure. Best way to figure it out.
Get that hot sauce.
Get that hot sauce out.
Some dancer just came by and gave us a coin.
Oh, yep. With the hot sauce, it's there. Yeah, one of the parade performers came by and gave us one of the doubloons from this year. So it says Universal Studios 2019 Mardi Gras on there, and then on the back, it's all just screaming right beside us. Then on the back, it's hard to probably see there, but it's all the different animal floats from this year. The gator, the elephant, I guess that's the Indian one in a way, a bird, a turtle, a bee, so it's a cool little one. Sometimes they'll throw these from the floats. You're better off trying to find one of the performers before the parade starts, as they're around the French Quarter courtyard, and get it from them. And you'll pretty much, you'll find at least one person that'll give it to you. She prefaced and handed it to us and said, get king cake on me. I think she was joking.
I don't know if she was joking.
But we're not going to use it on that even if you could. I'm keeping mine as a collectible, and I'll use my lanyard to get it. But we're going to move on to the next one. We have moved on to Poboys. And there's 2 Poboys offered. Both of them are $6.99 here. So, and then again, another good savings with the tasting lanyard at least. We got a catfish one here. So I'm gonna dig in. Very bready. Not a lot of catfish compared to the amount of bread, but hey, one in New Orleans.
Looks like it's got a little red, maybe that's sriracha, I don't know. On the top there, maybe it's just ketchup.
It's a chili sauce for sure. I don't know if it's name brand, but yeah. It's good, flaky, delicious catfish, not too fishy. Again, Cajun seasonings used in the breading to help it kick up to the next level with the chili sauce on top. It honestly doesn't need any extra hot sauce or anything. It's a good little po' boy. Just very bready. Very bready. Moving on to the shrimp and an andouille. So shrimp, andouille sausage, slaw and all that. Once again, very bready.
It looks like a kielbasa.
I mean, basically is. And that's the flavor that's standing out more. I'm getting more of the sausage than the shrimp. But I love andouille sausage, nice spicy sausage, kind of like, if I'm gonna eat sausage, I want it with a kick. I want chorizo, I want andouille. I like this. Both of these are a hit for me. Again, very bready. So keto friendly.
and I think you're getting your money's worth out of it, but I'll let you try.
AP Lanyard wins again because $6.99. I'm already happy. We're beating them out by $4 more now. We should have done a running tally total. I'm starting with the shrimp and andouille sausage. Oh God, you're right. It is very bready. There's a lot of bread, and I thought, like, at first I'm holding it and, like, gonna touch it, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be stale. But it kind of all works, and that sausage is really spicy. I like that they put the slaw in the bread, too. I don't know, I'm a big fan of that. Let me try the catfish. This one is definitely a little harder to keep together because we cut it apart. That made no sense. Yeah, the piece of catfish inside of here is really crispy. Flavorful. I like that chili sauce on it. I think the sausage and the shrimp is the winner though, because that one's like very flavorful, and this one is mostly bread with crispy stuff in the middle of it. So go with the andouille sausage and shrimp. But we're gonna choke down this bread, and I think we're gonna have to get a drink eventually. But we're gonna move on to another thing. Okay, so we went to the drinking area to see what they had to sample, and there were 9-ounce samples. We went with there was a strawberry lager, there was an MIA Mardi Gras brew, and then there was the non-alcoholic bog water, which has some sort of purple, looks like those popping balls, those boba balls in there, and then a green liquid, and then some gummy worms are now inside of this fizzy beverage. If you are vegan, I've heard that the popping boba pearls are not vegan friendly, by the way. I believe it's the gelatin inside of it because they're made from pigs. Okay, I thought this was gonna be like super sugary and gross, but I kind of like it. It's like a very limey Sprite, maybe, but a little less carbonation. I don't know if I'd want like a giant one of these, but maybe it's just because we haven't had anything to drink for a hot second, but I'm into it. I think it would be even better with like some alcohol or whatever. I'm gonna try the Mardi Gras brew next, 9-ounce pour here, the $5. Everything was $5, $4.99. Oh, it's a little bitter for me. I don't know how to describe that one. I think Craig will enjoy it.
Calling all of our extras here to the Macy's storefront.
Okay, the strawberry lager, definitely not like super strong strawberry flavor. I was expecting it to be kind of like that Sea Dogs blueberry beer, or there's another blueberry beer you can get at Target, but sometimes they're like, that's fruit in there. This one's more of a subtle flavoring. This is my choice of the 3 drinks. Craig, would you like to try them since I keep spilling them?
I believe I'm starting with the strawberry first. We've moved tables.
I think that's apple juice.
Apple juice?
Apple juice will go liquid, right?
You're correct.
Yes.
You got it. It's this is the Abita strawberry lager. Yeah, for me, this is like a nice balance. This is when it's really hot outside beer that I would want to be drinking, because it is a nice, smooth, non-offensive lager, but then it just has that nice, subtle hint of strawberry flavor. It's really tasty. Yeah, I like it.
Is it good? Jesus. Oh my God, it's
It is
really
pretty good.
Wow, is this
Yeah.
a review?
It is.
What is that? Is that a contraption of sorts?
It is.
Wow, I'm from the jungle. I don't know much about these kind of things.
They
Did you
didn't
get this
take
from the
it.
jungle?
I did, I think. I
This
mean,
looks like really dirty seawater. You gotta really make sure to get a good review.
wow, they're coming alive now. the MG brew from MIA Brewing.
What's happening?
You got to turn around to find out.
She's my favorite so far.
Yeah, the Mardi Gras brew.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe that. It's a little bitter.
Yeah, it's like it's a pale ale, but there's no distinct flavors that I'm personally getting from it to like coordinate it with Mardi Gras. If you would have just told me it's kind of like a basic pale ale, but they just slapped MG brew on it, I would believe you, because that's kind of what I'm getting from it. So now, doing it backwards, the bog water.
It could be bog water, like cranberry bog water, but it doesn't have any cranberries in it.
Yep, okay, I was worried the same way you were about this drink, because we watched them make it. They put the popping balls down at the bottom, and then they had this like neon green liquid that they poured on, which just looked like straight sugar. Then they top it off with a little bit of ginger ale, and once they do that, it does add that fizziness to it, but not overly sugary. You know, if I'm here at Mardi Gras, I'm gonna go for the alcoholic drink, not the non-alcoholic. But if for some reason like I didn't want to drink, I would actually come out and give this another try. Again, I think it's nice. It's creative. It's refreshing, but we're gonna finish our beers and then we're gonna finish completely with dessert. We have our desserts now, which includes the option of either king cake, then of course beignets. You can add on dipping sauce, either chocolate, strawberry, whatever, for caramel for 99 cents. We chose not to do that. And then also at the dessert booth, there is a king cake smoothie, which just sounded too disgusting, so we chose not to get it. We went with just the king cake and the beignets, so I'm gonna dig into the king cake right now, which, okay, it is very cakeish. Looking at it, it just looked like a big cinnamon roll.
Yeah.
But now, and it still kind of does actually. Yeah, it's just a big cinnamon roll with icing and the colors on top. But a good cinnamon roll. Not good authentic king cake though.
Those beignets came right out of the fryer.
I know. See how messy I get?
It's gonna be hot. Ooh.
It's a good beignet. I mean, it's not like going to Cafe Du Monde and getting a beignet, but pretty solid. What you get in, Ryno?
Okay, so I bit into the king cake. It is like a cinnamon roll. I wish it was a little bit more, less dried out, we'll say. But if you've been drinking and you need a sweet thing, it's right there. But Craig's my sweet thing, so I don't need that. Oh, it's not as good at this as you were?
How's the food, gentlemen? Good?
Oh, excellent. Thank you. Everybody wants to talk to us as soon as my mouth is full. The beignets, though, you're right. I think they're better than average. They're probably, like, a lot of people I think might want the dipping sauce or something, but I thought they were pretty good. I like that they're fresh, I'll say that, and I like that they're tiny. So of these two, I think I go with the beignet only because I feel like the king cake is a little drier towards the middle. Could just be our cut, but I also try not to eat sweet, so I don't know.
We have tasted everything that we possibly could, minus the disgusting looking king cake
Slushy. We have
Thank
regular
you.
king cake, yeah.
Yeah. So, Ryno, what was your one favorite thing?
It's tough call. I felt like overall everything we had was pretty decent. I think that I liked the andouille sausage and shrimp po' boy.
Yeah.
It had a lot of flavor, and honestly, if I was here for like the price, it was like we said, I think $6.99 if you were just buying it by itself. I feel like with our card, it was definitely worth it, $6.99. But I enjoyed it. I thought it flavorful, good. I don't know.
No, I think I actually have to go with you. It's between that or the Gator bites. I think I enjoyed the
Those are
Gator
good
bites
too,
the most.
yeah.
It was just that wasn't the I wasn't a huge fan of the portions on that. I thought it was a little small.
yeah.
So wasn't.
Oh, we've got a...
Oh, you're not a huge fan of what?
We wanted more of the Gator bites. They were so good. They didn't give us a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I agree. The food's really good here. You guys should come to Mardi Gras, Universal,
Yeah.
until April 4th.
Yeah.
See you later.
Just did all the work for us. Yeah, happy Mardi Gras.
Everybody is very friendly
Yeah,
tonight.
I know. Well, I mean, it's a weekday, so it's not the craziness of a weekend. But yeah, there's nothing I would say avoid, and none of the flavors here are like There's nothing to be afraid of.
Don't think like Cajun food, I can't handle spice, because
Yeah.
we already told you repeatedly in this video. Things have flavor, but they're not like spicy.
Yeah.
So Corey Martin would be like, this is crazy.
Yep, exactly. So that's it for us here. We're going to head back to the studio and wrap things up.
Ryno, wonderful as always. Thank you for going out there with me.
You're welcome.
And I think that's about it on it. So if you're planning on going to Universal Mardi Gras, again, you only have until April 4th. But it's running every night of the week. If you want to see a concert, check the schedule for all of those concerts. And that's it. We love the event.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Yes.
Same way Randy Newman feels about LA.
I like bugs. Oh, I thought you were going to say Pixar.
We love it.
I love LA.
There we go. That's a great Randy Newman impression. So
I like bugs. Tiny bugs.
yeah, there we go. We got that in. So remember, mark that the singing started at
The
19
song from
minutes.
Toy Story.
Okay. So thank you so much, Ryno, for going to Universal with me and talking about this here. And thank you to everyone out there for listening and watching to this. Of course, if you need more information, DizUnplugged.com, home of our show notes page for this show and all the others on the Diz Unplugged Podcast Network. You can find links to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our email, uopodcast@DizUnplugged.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead, subscribe, hit that bell button so you get notified anytime we release a new video. Also, leave us fun comments down below. I'm going to try to get better about answering them. I see them all. We'll try to answer more. I really promise that. If you write them, I'll look and I will try. And hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed it. And if you didn't like it, hit thumbs down. Doesn't matter to us. We don't take it personally.
I do.
Okay. There you go. He does. If you're listening to this on iTunes or any other podcast thing, go ahead and make sure you're subscribed to us on your preferred podcast listening abilities. And also leave us feedback on that if you can. Rate us, review us, do all that good stuff. So thank you once again to everyone out there for listening and watching us. We'll be back again next week with another episode of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. But until then, remember, we still haven't changed the name.